Welcome to Israel. Israel is the most fascinating country in the world, both geographically and culturally. The birthplace of five major religions, including Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Israel's culture is deeply rooted in the Jewish religion. There are many Jewish immigrants from several different countries. As a result, Israel has a dynamic, creative, and diverse culture. Israel contains a collectivist society in which the group, especially the family is more valued than its individual members. They enjoy sharing life with their family and friends and are quick to offer help to those in need. Israel are generally dedicated to their culture and state. They embrace many lifestyles from modern to traditional, from urban to rural, and from communal to individual. These are the customs and traditions in Israel. Number 1. Riding a bike on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the holiest day in Jewish calendar. It is the time when many non-regular Israeli annual opportunity to ride their bicycles on deserted streets, with no cars, no trains, no boats, and no planes. Number 2. Standing during memorial sirens. Israel came to a standstill with a 2-minute siren wailing across the country in remembrance of the 6 million Jewish victims murdered by the Nazis during World War II. The annual remembrance is one of the most solemn on Israel's calendar. That is the sound of Passover. Number 3 is Passover. Passover is a Jewish holiday that commemorates the freedom of Jews from slavery in Egypt. It is sacred and widely celebrated holiday in Judaism. These celebrations include a retelling of Exodus story and a special dinner. During Passover, there are some ingredients that are forbidden to eat. Anything with yes in it is forbidden, like most bread. So that's why grocery stores across Israel block off food stores like this. All tape off, absolutely no cereal available. And it's pretty crazy to see the whole store like this. Food companies label their product like this to show that it is not only kosher, but kosher for Passover. And the special bread for Passover called matzah. It is sold stores only during this time. During the holiday of Passover, it is forbidden to the Jews to eat or own chametz. Chametz is a product that contains grains. And maybe it's why every Passover Jew says, next year in Jerusalem. There are 3 common illness and disease in Israel. Number 1 is cancer. In Israel, each year, around 30,000 people are diagnosed with cancer, and about 10,000 people die. Cancer is the most common cause of death in Israel and accounts of 25% of the total mortality each year. Number 2 is heart disease. Heart disease is the second most prevalent cause of death in Israel. Cardiac diseases affect 10.2% of Israeli men and 7.1% of women, with a prevalence of coronary artery disease of 7.5% and 4.1% respectively. Number 3. Diabetes. Diabetes is the next leading cause of death after cancer and heart disease. Compared to other countries, death from diabetes is highest in Israel. Healthcare system in Israel. Israel health system is among the leading health systems in the world, characterized by high efficiency, low expenses, and excellent health outcomes. As a result, infant mortality in Israel is extremely low, and Israel ranks worldwide among the highest for life expectancy. All residents of the state of Israel enjoy universal health insurance provided by health funds determined to promote health for the heterogeneous population of Israel, like Jews, Muslims, Christians, religious, secular, veterans, and immigrants. The OECD recently praised Israel for the quality of its health system, and the Bloomberg report awarded Israel high marks. Like other countries, Israel faces the challenge of an aging population and the increase in chronic diseases that require to be more efficient and to find creative solutions in the fields of health. As the startup nation, Israel leads in developing innovative solutions in the fields of digital health and medical R&D. Israel has one of the most technologically advanced and highest quality healthcare system in the world. Hospitals in Israel are equipped with modern facilities and high quality medical technology. Also, medical personnel are very well trained and they are delivered very efficiently. Caregivers opportunities in Israel. Israel does not require a college diploma, but applicants must at least be a high school graduate, also finished caregiving course, and pass TESDAS assessment and certification. According to the POEA, the contract will be for a maximum of 5 years and a monthly salary of $1,400 or around 77,000 pesos with no placement fees. However, hard applicants will have to shoulder their own airfare and fees in processing the required documents. Other benefits include medical insurance and sick pay. Israel has a need for caregivers assisting elderly and disabled Jewish and Israelis. They have also a suitable living accommodation in the home of persons with disabilities for the entire duration of employment. Among other countries, Israel caregivers are very lucky because they don't have any tax at all. They have also many good benefits, including recuperation pay, holidays, and annual leave. Recuperation pay is a whole year that you were able to complete with your employer, thus making you entitled bonuses. Caregivers' living situations and restrictions in Israel. Caregivers in Israel are not allowed to bring their family and while frequently working during their off time. And also, they are not able to collect overtime. Visa is linked to the person who you are caring for is alive. It is possible to gain permission to move to another employer if the team person you are caring for is passes away. There may be more caregivers in Israel than any other country due to the long-term care insurance law. In comparison, 41% of Israel elderly receive permission to hire a caregiver compared to Canada being around 9%. In conclusion, based upon my research, I believe that Israel is a good location to consider to apply to be a caregiver. Based upon their cultures, history, traditions, climates, and job opportunities, it appeals on